Welcome to Connected Media Live at NAB Show. I'm Bridget Nzeku, and joining me is Chris Brown, Executive Vice President of NAB. Thank you very much for talking to us, Chris.
Glad to be here.
How's the show been going?
Oh, fantastic. It has been one of the best shows we've seen in more than 10 years. It almost feels like the good old days in many respects, but it's reflecting, I think, a really healthy industry. I think it's reflecting lots and lots of change. And, the good news is our numbers are up considerably. We at this point, are looking at over 98,000 total registrants for the show. Again, approaching numbers we haven't seen in quite a while. Spanning now about 940,000 net square feet of exhibit space. Best show as well in 12 years or so. So it's a large show. We've had nothing but great feedback from the show floor from both the exhibitor side and the attendee side.
You've partnered with BPL Broadcast to create Connected Media Live. Tell us about that partnership.
Well, it's been a great partnership with BPL, and really it's evolved and continues to evolve. This area, Connected Media World, has grown, almost doubled from last year. We've got great participants, and really the focus of this for us is to try to tell a different story. And the key, as everybody knows at this point, is anywhere, anytime content delivery, and it's being driven so much by the consumer and the consumer experience. And for a long time we've been, a bit further downstream as far as how content is produced and distributed, and it's been a little tougher for us to kind of tell that story about how that user experience is defined and the companies that are actually defining that and the technologies that are defining that. So Connected Media World is a great way for us to kind of bring those players together and to tell that story, both through the exhibits and the great job that BPL does also putting together sessions, in the stage and the theater. So, it's been a great partnership. I think we've learned a lot from each other. We've been able to introduce our respective teams to really very different sides of the business, and we're both growing from it.
And is that why Connected Media Live is moving to a new position in 2015? Tell us about that.
Yeah, very much so, because this is, I think, a critical part of what we're trying to do with the show. And that is it's very future focused, and certainly, that is something that warrants this having a much more prominent position in the show, because again, we want to make sure that people are taking advantage of it, they understand what is happening here, and that they're getting a chance to meet the companies that are involved here. So, yeah, we'll be moving it over, into a more central spot, and I think that that story will continue to grow because of that.
No one has a better overview of the industry than you do. So tell us what the big themes have been at NAB this year.
Well, I'll tell you about some of the themes I think we knew would be seen here coming in, and then I'll mention a couple that I think were kind of interesting that we saw sort of popping out of the show. One certainly is 4K. I mean, you saw that just about in every corner of the show. Many companies investing heavily in their 4K product development, and some really interesting new players and new products in 4K. And I think it kind of underscores that this is a technology that's going to be with us, and that's going to define a lot of what's going to be happening over the next several years. You've seen a lot related to IP streaming. There's certainly even here a fair bit of discussion around that. Mobile, again, something that's highlighted here in Connected Media World as well. And then I think the fun things that sort of happened, or that you saw this year, drones were everywhere. I don't know that, I think we sort of knew that was going to happen. I'm not sure we knew it was going to happen to the degree it did. So folks have obviously figured out there's an opportunity there. Going to be an interesting and perhaps somewhat controversial, type of product for a few years, but I think, some interesting possibilities there. And with that has been, just the continued miniaturization of everything, and certainly camera technology is one of those. I mean, GoPro's been a really prominent participant here for a few years, but now everybody's got, a really small camera that shoots really high quality video, and that sort of changes the game, quite a bit.
And looking ahead, NAB 2015, what do you think we're going to see in the next 12 months? How will the market develop? What will people be talking about then?
Well, I tell you what, my crystal ball is as clear or unclear as just about anybody else's at this point. I mean, I do think that the one thing, and it's the age-old saying of the one constant we know will be change. It'll be just further change. I do think that you're going to see 4K continue to evolve. I think by the time we get here next year, it'll have moved downstream, so you'll see much more work there, back through the production workflow. I do think you're going to start to see some of the business models starting to shake out a little bit. You know,
Right.
as we've seen some of the interesting content deals that have been made recently, for example, between Disney and Dish, and now Disney looking to do the same with DirecTV. You know, these are sort of new types of partnerships that are trying to define, you know, new consumer offerings, and so I think that there's going to be a whole new set of those, and I think other partnerships will follow. And so I think, you know, I don't believe by the end of next year, by the time we're here next year, that all those answers will have come. But I think you're starting to see the picture clear up a little bit, and you'll start to see where the money's going to flow, what that's going to mean for the technologies that are going to be sustainable over the long term. So you know, I'd say all in all, maybe the crystal ball clears up a little bit more. But again, I think, you know, there's still lots and lots that's going to be you know, changing.
Chris Brown, thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah, great to be here.